Today, I want to talk about my phone's setup. I've looked around and I don't think anyone's ever talked about in depth my particular phone and all that it can do. Here is what I posit. The 2022 Samsung X Cover 6 Pro is one of the best phones, if not the best phone that is currently being sold on the market today. Let's talk about it. Welcome to my channel, Often Thinks. I'm Often. Ding. And here's me thinking. Bwah. On this channel, I think about stuff. I like thinking about stuff that interests me. My videos mainly orbit around topics such as fullness of life, urban monastic practices, and prudent tech usage. So I own a Samsung Galaxy X Cover 6 Pro, and it is amazing. And I'm honestly surprised that no one's talking about it. It has all the benefits of a new phone with most of the features that made older phones like the LG V20 great. If you've been keeping up with smartphone designs over the past decade, you've probably noticed that most manufacturers are headed in the same direction. Phones are getting larger with longer battery life and better cameras, which is awesome. But on the flip side, they've been removing a lot of really useful features that made the old phones great. Like before this phone, my favorite smartphone of all time was the LG V20, which came out in 2016. But when I had to upgrade, I had these list of features that were must have. As in, if they didn't have these particular features, I wouldn't buy the phone. But at that time, none of the newest generation of phones had all the features that I wanted. And over the years, I saw that slowly but surely, all of my favorite features being phased out with each generation of smartphones. But then the Samsung released the X Cover 6 Pro in 2022. And this smartphone is the best of both worlds. It has the old school features that I loved from the V20, but with modern specs that come with newer phones. So, what old school features does it have? It's got a 3.5 millimeter jack. It has a removable, swappable battery. And it has expandable memory with a micro SD card slot. And you might think, well, having a swappable battery makes it vulnerable to water damage, right? Nope, it's IP68 rated, so it protects against water spray and complete submersion up to 5 feet for 30 minutes. So as long as you don't use this phone during swimming practice, it'll operate just fine. And for newer tech, it includes my favorite Samsung DeX, Android 14, and it has USB-C charging. Is it cutting edge? No. But it does everything I need it to do and more so. Before this, I owned the S22 Ultra, which was top of the line at that time. And right now, my brother, he owns the S24 Ultra. So I've held in these hands the cream of the crop, the best of the best. And yet, if I had the option to pick again any phone that is available on the market today, I would choose the X Cover 6 Pro again in a heartbeat. And it's because of my current setup and workflow. Because my setup actually involves three phones. My daily driver is the Samsung X Cover 6 Pro, the one I've been talking about. But at home and at work, I have two 2020 Samsung X Cover Pro phones that are constantly charging, and they use the same battery as the 2023 X Cover 6 Pro. So whenever I go to work, I just swap batteries with my backup phone, and then boom, 100% battery life. And when I go back home, I swap batteries again, and boom, 100% battery life. And I just keep swapping batteries back and forth whenever my phone dips below 20%. And guess what? If I forget to charge my phone before going to bed, a quick battery swap in the morning fixes the problem. Right before I recorded this video, I swapped batteries to a fresh one because I knew that video recording eats away at battery life. And I see a lot of people online asking, what's a good standalone MP3 player? My answer is, well, the backup phone is a pretty good standalone MP3 player. It has a 3.5 millimeter jack, it has USB-C charging, it has expandable memory, and it has the same battery as your daily driver phone. The 2020 Samsung Xcover Pro was used primarily in commercial settings like warehouses and retail stores. So you can find refurb Xcover Pros on eBay for cheap, like 40 bucks. I never actually bought new additional batteries for my daily driver. I just used the ones that came with my backup phone. And if any of my three batteries start failing, I'll purchase new ones, which cost about 50 bucks. But so far, the original battery and the two refurbished batteries have been holding up pretty well, so I'm not too concerned. Oh, and sometimes after using my backup phone while doing chores around the house, like cooking or yard work, I just give the phone a quick rinse under the sink and let it air dry. Okay, back to the Xcover 6 Pro. The reason why I use this as my daily driver is because it has Samsung DeX, which means you can connect it to a monitor, a mouse, and a keyboard and have a desktop like experience. I've been using the DeX as my main computer for the past 2 years, and it's a bit wonky, and occasionally I have to boot up my old laptop to perform a specific task that Samsung DeX can't handle, like making a live USB boot drive or burning a CD. Actually, I edited this entire video using the Luma Fusion app on Android. It's great because it offers keyboard shortcuts in DeX mode, and it's a one-time purchase. It's not a subscription purchase. Amazing. Okay, but what about the Xcover 6 Pro's camera? Well, this talking headshot that you see right now is from the front-facing camera of the Pro. And all of the B-roll from the rear cameras is either from my daily driver or from my backup phones. So you be the judge. But what about you? What is your ideal smartphone? Or perhaps you don't want a smartphone but a dumb phone. Or maybe you just don't want to have a phone at all. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments below. Peace.